This is Texans TV.
Texans 360 is presented by BMW, the official luxury car of the Houston Texans. By TDECU, the official credit union of the Houston Texans. And by Caesars Rewards, for every way you play.
We are ready to rock in Houston. Rock and roll.
Another day, another dollar.
Touchdown, Texans! He's in. Rock and roll.
That's when you think you've seen it all. There's always something else.
Let's go. They go home. They go home.
Welcome into Texans 360. We've got a great show for you. It was Founders Day this week. We're going to take a look back at the start of this franchise, and it was an amazing one against the Cowboys. We're also going to sit down with Steven Nelson. He's got a farm. He's got lots of things going on both on and off the field. John Harris is going to show you some Telestrator action. We had some big plays in last week's game against the Chargers, and Nico Collins' fastest play so far this season. But first, we're going to kick it off with the head coach, Lovie Smith. We sit down with him for Texans Radio. He talks about the Jags and what to look forward to this week.
Joining us in studio is Texans head coach Lovie Smith. Coach, great to see you. You've played 2 road games. You've been in that tough environment so far. Doesn't that help you, especially with some of the young guys who haven't been in the NFL, for a situation like Jacksonville back out on the road now? We know what to expect, at least more of what to expect in terms of the environment.
I absolutely think that's why I think it's important. Preseasons are of having an away game for the guys that don't know. So we got that out of the way. We kind of know the routine of going on the road, and it should be like another game for us this week.
Division game on the road. Maybe the most important game you would play because, well, first of all, it's the next one, but it's also because of that, it's a division game. What did you see from Trevor last year that you've got to be concerned about, and what do you think about the Jags overall?
I mean, they've been one of the teams that people are talking about, so we're familiar, but we played them a couple times. They're a division opponent. Trevor Lawrence is a real deal. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. You know, offensively, Kirk receivers, good player. Offensive line, of course, they've tweaked it a little bit. And on the defensive side, you know, the first pick in the draft there, they put money into their defensive line. They've just upgraded the personnel, have an outstanding coach, of course. So it'll be a big challenge for them.
Last year has nothing to do with this year, but back out on the road, is this strange, the 17-game schedule? You have these 9 road games. We're all getting used to it together. Last year you had 9 home games.
Yeah, but, you know, for us, Mark, it's just that I know who we play next week.
Yeah.
Or this week now.
Right.
You try not to look too far ahead, but you know who's coming up on the schedule. And we know a division opponent. We're going to go to Jacksonville each year. And really, when you have a bad taste in your mouth and trying to get your first win, it doesn't really matter who you're playing, but to go into the division, it's always about the division. You know, we haven't lost in the division as we see it right now, so we need to get a win.
When you think back to seeing Damian the first time and what he's given you now, do you think he'd be at this point when you initially saw him as a rookie with everybody had in the roster at the time? He's a rookie. We're through week 4, and he's become a really big offensive threat. Do you kind of think he was kind of headed in that direction? When did you kind of know, okay, this guy's going to be one of our better offensive players this year?
Well, I think everybody's been around Damon from training camp have seen when he walked in the building, just energy, his love for the game. And then we got on the football field, we start to see it that way. I mean, he comes to work every day. You know, and I'm talking hard-nosed football player that loves to run in between the tackles, can make you miss an open field, but that last dimension of his game, that the great running backs need, is be able to go the distance. So, he's been a good football player for a period of time, and he's still young, too.
Outstanding. Coach, thanks a lot for joining us. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Good stuff from the head coach, and we hope to see more of this guy, Nico Collins. He had a couple of big catches in last week's game against the Chargers. He's already racked up 207 yards on the season. Our very own Drew Doherty had a chance to catch up with him. They're not talking football. They're playing Jenga.
It's Jenga time, so we got Nico Collins, wide receiver. Did you get taller? You look a little taller. You were taller. You were tall to begin with. I think he's grown an inch. Good to see you.
Yes, sir.
We got to play the game. That was an awkward handshake on my part. My apologies. Can't pull from the first 3, the top 3, and you can only use one hand. So you begin. You pull, and we'll ask questions. Yes, go for it. Be very careful. Yep. Testing. There you go. All right, what do you got there? What's the question?
Okay. Are you a mama's boy?
Are you a mama's boy, Nico Collins?
Of course.
Yeah?
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
My dude. Yeah.
How so?
I'd say. Yeah, man. I feel like you gotta love your mom, man. You only get one.
Where would we be without our mothers?
Exactly.
I like
You
it.
only get one.
A little bit of friction, but
Sure.
okay, Nico. All-time favorite retired NFL player. Who is it?
Randy Moss.
Randy Moss. That's natural. I mean,
Come on. Moss is just, that's self-explanatory. I shouldn't have to.
just going over guys,
Moss,
just
come on now.
fast.
Easy.
Yeah,
Then you
easily.
played at Marshall going crazy.
Yeah,
Slight word for him. It's my go.
yeah. Played at Marshall. That's kind of like unfair for the
Right.
people Marshall was having to play
man.
against.
Then you had the fro with it too. Okay. Who is your celebrity look-alike?
Yeah, who is your celebrity lookalike?
Will Smith?
Okay. Please don't slap me if I beat you, okay? All right. No, put it on top. You gotta put it on top.
Yeah,
You gotta put it on top.
my bad. I got that
Okay,
one.
I can see Will Smith. I can see it. I
Yeah.
can see it.
That's the end of Dr. Dre.
Dr. Dre? Okay. What is your first memory as a kid?
First memory as a kid. I would say my first Christmas.
Okay.
First Christmas as a kid, I feel like I got the Nerf gun started coming
yeah,
out.
yeah,
I got
yeah.
the one that was just automatic. Yeah. I was just letting it rip on my siblings. Yeah. That was the best one.
Yeah,
Best
they
one so
probably
far.
they probably weren't loving that, were they?
Not at all.
Yeah,
Not at all.
that's a good Christmas. This is the one. Ooh.
You did that quick. Easy, no pressure.
Best concert you've been to?
Best concert? I'll say my little baby.
Little Baby?
Yeah.
Okay.
Great fun. It was solid.
Okay. Okay, we've already
yeah.
done that one.
What's your go-to karaoke
Yeah,
song?
karaoke. Mine is
Yeah, what's yours?
mine is probably Julio Iglesias, Willie Nelson, to All the Girls I've loved before.
Solid.
How is this not? This is amazing. Wow. Favorite social media platform?
Twitter.
Oh, Twitter's your favorite. Oh,
Let's get it.
Nico, you win. I'm
go.
sorry about that. I didn't mean to surprise you, but
You good.
Nico Collins,
W.
another champion for the players.
Coming up, Steven Nelson sits down with us and chats about his farm. That's next on Texans 360. Welcome back to Texans 360. I love chatting with players every single week, and this week was a fun one. Steven Nelson, he's in year 8. He's in his first season with the Texans, doing some good things back there in the secondary, but off the field, he lives a whole different life, and he is so suited for Texas. He's got his own farm, he's got his own garden, and he loves it. It's one of his favorite things to do. Had a chance to catch up with him, find out where this passion came from, and how he has time for all of it, especially during football season. It's a Deep Slant 101 presented by Xfinity. My guest this week, Steve Nelson. I was just showing you a picture of my dog because when we're in the locker room, you've got one of those photographs with the scrolling pictures.
Yes.
And every time your dog shows up on that, I'm like fixated on it because your dog looks so much like my dog. Just the skinnier version.
Yeah.
But you've got like a golden doodle, right?
Yes, golden doodle.
How old?
He's 2.
But you're like an animal lover because I just saw this feature that Tyler Sudarth, our videographer, put together. It's fantastic.
Yes.
You on your farm. So what's on your farm right now? Like describe it for people.
Right now, we have a garden, anywhere from chickens to turkeys. We have peacocks, pigs, goats, sheep, and a miniature horse.
How does that relate to football? I mean, football is like such a tough physical sport. This seems so calming and relaxing.
They go hand in hand, right? So, football is, it's stressful. It can be stressful. It's very demanding. So for me, my getaway is to be with the animals.
Yeah, of course.
It's peaceful. It just kind of relaxes me and just kind of draws me away a little bit. So I guess, recharged in a way.
I know everybody looks to you as someone that can be there for a guy like Derek Stingley, who's a rookie. And I know that you at one point had said that you leaned on a guy, Eric Berry, in Kansas City. So what is that relationship like when you're so many years in and you're looking at the rookie? And it's that I imagine that's such a tough position to sort of get your feet under.
I love taking on that challenge, helping him in any way possible. It's all about just finding guys when you come in that, you kind of see that they do the right things. They do it the right way. I mean, he has everything, tools-wise to be successful.
All right, Steven, it's been fun getting to know you, and I'm looking for the merch because I like those shirts.
Yes. I don't know if you follow my Instagram.
Okay, I do. I probably do.
I got Nelson Farms Instagram, too.
Oh, okay.
So it's always been updated with stuff.
I don't follow Nelson Farms. I'm going to follow Nelson Farms.
Follow Nelson Farms.
And you can check out the video on HoustonTexans.com.
Yes.
It's fantastic. It's also on YouTube. Steven,
Yes.
Best of luck for the rest of the season. Thanks so
Thank
much
you.
for the time.
Appreciate it.
Coming up, we take a look back at the first game in franchise history, that big win against the Cowboys. That's next on Texans 360. Welcome back to the Ford Studio. It was Founders Week this week. On October 6, 1999, the city of Houston was awarded the Houston Texans, and it would not have been possible without the late Robert C. McNair, and the Texans are going to honor him out in the community next week. But first, let's take a look back at that Week 1 game in 2002 against the Cowboys. I was actually there in the stands. It is one of my all-time favorite memories of this team. I was not working for the Texans at the time, but man, what a way to kick off a franchise, but to beat the Cowboys at home in front of a sold-out crowd. Let's take a look back.
Week 1, September 8th, 2002. The Houston Texans took the field for the first time in front of their home crowd.
The crowd is going crazy as the Texans take the field at Reliant Stadium.
I still believe in my heart that was the loudest game ever. It was so awesome just to be back in there, to have your own team and somebody to cheer for and yell at.
Most of the fans didn't know who most of the guys on the team were, but we were getting huge rounds of applause every time they announced one of us.
I still remember the smoke from the fireworks on the inside and just the energy from the crowd from before we even kicked off, and it never really let up. I don't know if people sat down the entire game.
I just remember when we were coming down that tunnel, I remember Billy Miller came up to me and said, "Show 'em what you got, young man. Show 'em what you got."
Roof closed, the fans in a frenzy. Here it is, the first kickoff in Texans history.
On the first drive of the game, rookie quarterback David Carr came out guns a-blazing. With a 19-yard dart to Billy Miller, Carr had his first completion, and the Texans had their first touchdown.
Caught by Miller, takes it over the 5, into the end zone. Touchdown, Houston! David Carr to Billy Miller, the first touchdown in Texans history.
We called the play, and Billy was smiling already before we broke the huddle, so he knew it was coming to him. I threw him a ball that I'd thrown him 100 times in the summer, and then he just made an incredible effort after the play. You know, the catch would have maybe gone for 10 or 12 yards, but he ended up turning it up, breaking a tackle, and then making a great stretch for a touchdown. And then after that, it was just all a blur.
A 19-yarder, and the Texans strike first.
As a play-by-play guy, I just wanted to get it right. History could not have begun any better for the Houston Texans that night, and Andre and I were as pumped up as we've ever been. I mean, the setting in NRG Stadium with everybody going crazy, scoring on the Cowboys, it was a delight.
I thought, okay, good, we're not going to get shut out, and we got something here. I didn't know what was going to happen in that game, but I knew that if we're going to win it, we're going to have to score some points at some point. And I wasn't really sure we were going to be able to do it going into the game. After that, it felt a lot better.
The teams traded punches in front of a frenzied crowd. Through 3 quarters, it was tied at 10. And then
he's loose over the 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, rock and roll, touchdown Houston! Reliant Stadium has erupted. The Texans score.
A touchdown pass to Corey Bradford at the start of the 4th quarter gave the Texans a 17-10 lead. Now it was up to the defense to close it out.
I could tell that they weren't in the kind of shape we were. And I could see it in their eyes. Their eyes looked kind of glassy, and that's where I felt somewhere in the 3rd or 4th quarter. We just keep rolling. We've got this.
He's back in the end zone. He's in trouble. He's sacked for a safety. It's a deuce for the Texans. That's going to put it away.
The Texans won that inaugural game 19-10, a score no one would ever forget. Week 1, September 8th, 2002, belonged to Houston.
It's over! The Texans have done it! They have beaten the Dallas Cowboys on opening night in team history, an historic night as the Houston Texans debut with a blast.
It did feel like a Super Bowl. I mean, that was our Super Bowl that season, even leading up to the game. you heard everyone say, hey, look, we don't care if you win 0 games the rest of the season, but if you beat Dallas, then, that's all we want for our first season.
I still laugh about Jerry Jones and I have become good friends. And, Bob, he said, I only cried twice in my life. And once is when my mother or father got injured. And he said the second time is when y'all won that first game. He said, that's the second time I cried in my life.
People still bring it up to me. It's 16 years later, and there's still people that will point to that as one of their bright spots in the franchise history. At some point, they're going to go and win a Super Bowl, and it'll move a little bit further down the list. But I think especially for people that have been Texans fans for the entire duration of the franchise, it's a bit of a point of pride for them.
For that to happen on that night, I'm super happy that I was able to do that for Bob McNair. He's a great owner. The organization was fantastic. That moment, back there in September, my rookie year, nothing will even come close to that.
Into the end zone! Touchdown, Houston!
Coming up, John Harris draws up a few big plays from Week 4 on Telestrator. That's next on Texans 360.
Texans 360 is presented by Comcast, by Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. And by Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Houston Texans.
Final segment of Texans 360. Let's take a look back at Week 4. I love it when John Harris gets out the Telestrator and breaks down big plays. And you don't get to do this one very often. Special teams recovered fumble against DeAndre Carter. MJ Stewart was a part of that. I actually sat down with him. Did not realize that he'd punched the ball out until later. I think a teammate had told him on the field. So we'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at Nico Collins' big catch. It's all right here with John Harris and the Telestrator.
Boy, it was nice to finally hit the deep ball against the Chargers from Davis Mills to Nico Collins for 58 yards. How'd it happen? Hey, I'm glad you asked. Let's go to the Telestrator here and take a look. You're going to see Nico in a condensed split. Anytime he's inside the top of the numbers, consider that a condensed split. Brandon's got a tight split as well. So this is kind of a condensed formation. And Nico is going to just roll on out of here. And Brandon's going to come here on this side. Now, I've seen this route many, many times. The Texans have run this for years, even with different offensive coordinators. And the thought is against what turns out to be a single high coverage, whether it's man or whether it's zone, this is a really good route because either Brandon can beat his guy across here for that route, or Nico might get on top of J.C. Jackson, as he did, and then the safety is too late getting over, and that's the guy you hit. So you got a couple options here. So you see it materialize, and it looks like man or could be a cover 3 match. But you got a safety in the middle of the field. Derwin's going with OJ. You got this on Brandon, and you got J.C. Jackson with Nico. The best thing about this is Nico just runs right by him. Adderley sits too low. So at some point, Davis realizes, all right, Adderley's sitting too low. I got Nico with a step, and that's when he decides right there, I'm letting this thing go, and Nico's going to go make a play. Davis tosses it, takes a hit. Adderley bad angle. Nico beats JC, big play. Let's look at the protection here because this is key as well. Chargers not going to bring pressure. They're just going to bring 4. He's just green dog in the back here. So good protection up front. All right, nice job by Davis to slide into a good throwing area. Managing the pocket. Damian, good block. Let that thing go. Deep ball. Didn't make him wait. Caught it in stride. Able to get the Texans in position for a touchdown on the next play.
Mills fakes the give. Mills plants, slides to his left, uncorks a long one downfield, and has Nico at the 25. Nico at the 20 and brought down in the red zone by Adderley. Big play to Nico Collins.
After the bomb, after the touchdown, it was time for special teams to take over on a fumble and a kickoff. MJ Stewart recovered by Jalen Reeves-Maybin, and it's Jalen Reeves-Maybin who gets the fumble recovery, and I'm glad because he's the one who makes the play on this. Let's take a look. On kickoff, it's pretty simple, right? Everybody just stay in your lanes, right? Everybody just staying in lanes all the way down. Now here's MJ out here. Eric Murray's a safety, so he's going to peel back. all right? At some point, he's going to peel back. And MJ's out here. He's who makes the tackle, right? So watch MJ. Nobody blocks him, right? Bang! And then he just delivers a hit, okay? But why did the ball go to MJ? I want you to take a look right here in the middle. 44-1. This is Tremon right here, and this is Jalen Reeves-Maybin. They're going to cross. And where that becomes important is the Chargers are looking at, they're counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When these two swap, it messes these guys up. And so in the swap, there's Tremon, right? And then Jalen goes right around and makes his guy miss. So they're too close. So this guy's eyeing Jalen. So Tremon comes here. Jalen goes there. That guy can't block Jalen. And then Jalen's the one getting inside. Carter's like, uh-oh, I got to go here. Well, all of a sudden, he sends it right to MJ. Make the hit. Bang. Ball's on the ground. Nobody knows. MJ's already celebrating. Look, he's like, I created a fumble. Nobody knows. And then 44, Jalen Reeves-Maybin came out of there with the ball. Jalen Reeves-Maybin, that little swap with Tremon, was key on that kickoff coverage. MJ got the hit. Nobody blocked him, but he got the hit because 44 made the play and then made the play.
Carter at the 1, right side over the 5, 10, 15, and brought down at the 17-yard line. The ball is out. The Texans say they have it. There is a fight for it, and Houston has the ball. The Texans recover.
Hope we can see some more big plays like that at Jacksonville. But you know what? We have another home game coming up. You're going to have to wait a few more weeks, but it's October 30th against the Titans because the Texans are going to go to Jacksonville. Then they have a bye. Then they're on the road. Then they'll be back at home. But don't worry. You can still get tickets. HoustonTexans.com/tickets to catch Texans back at home against another AFC South rival. That's going to do it for Texans 360. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, go Texans.
Thanks for watching and go Texans. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell for new content.